Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be going over some dynamic poses, and we're going to be using Gone from Hunter x Hunter as our reference drawing here. And as you can see, this pose is very dynamic at best. It's throwing a kick in the air. And the main thing I really just want to go over with you guys is how to take shapes and turn them into bodies, because I feel like people really get lost in the sauce when it comes to drawing, especially like anatomy, because they're trying to draw everything all at once when it really doesn't have to be that way. Alright, so what we have right here is what I like to call our three major masses. So you got your head, your torso, and your pelvis. Now if you have that right there, you can we could draw the legs and the arms however we wanted to. Now of course we're following the reference, but if you have a good understanding of these three masses right here, you can draw a pose however you'd like. So let's start off with capturing the balance. Where is all of his weight at in this pose? It's not in the top leg, of course. It's not really in the arms. His arms are helping him balance, but the main center of his mass and his weight is in that left leg. His left, our right. So just using these shapes, we're going to be using cylinders and circles or spheres. Cylinders for major muscle groups like the thighs, biceps, forearms, and calves, and circles for our joints. So that's something I want you guys to remember. Cylinders for muscle groups, circles for joints. So let's just put the calf right there and just do like a little triangle for the foot. Alright, so let's do the same thing with this top leg here. Cylinder for the major muscle group, circle for the knee or the joint, and then we'll do another cylinder for the calf, and then like I said, we'll just do a triangle for the foot there. And then let's add in the arms. The shoulder, I do consider that a joint, because you know it's kind of a ball and socket kind of deal. So what we'll do is that shoulder kind of comes in a little bit, kind of covers his chin some. So we got a circle for the shoulder, cylinder for the bicep, another circle for the elbow, and then of course you won't be able to see too much of the forearm, so let's just draw like a little square here for the hand. I'll just show that the thumb is right there. Cool. So we'll do the same thing on this side. You won't be able to see the shoulder joint on this side, but you can see where the bicep starts to peek out here. So cylinder for the bicep, circle for the joint, for the elbow joint there, another cylinder for the forearm, and then like I said, we'll just do like a little square here for the hand. And just like that, you got yourself a decent pose. Now I would like to move this leg over just a little bit, just to kind of give them a little more balance. But all in all, very clean pose. So what I'll do is I'm going to erase my guidelines here, and just for clarity, the eyes are going to be about right there. So what I'll do is I'm going to erase our guidelines, Then we're going to go through and we're going to add some ink. Just going to take you guys through my process as I'm just drawing this picture here. You know, you don't have to erase super hard for your guidelines there, because you kind of still want them to be there if you want to see them at all. They are called guidelines for a reason. Alright. And just gonna move this stuff out of the way here. So cool. We have our guidelines, or what I like to call the bones. You know, if you have the bones of a picture, you can go through and layer it how you see fit. So we'll start with the eyes. That's what I usually start with. The eyes here. It's got another one right over there. Cool, cool. And just add in the pupil there. Just give a little divot that way. One thing about drawing with pen is you kind of want to map things out before you get too far into it. Like with this eye over here, I'm not going to wait until I get all the way where I need that to be whited out. I'll go ahead and make a little divot right there and then go back through, and there you go. Just kind of makes it easier on yourself. Got a little nose right there, little mouth, got the eyebrows. Cool. And we'll go to the side here. The chin kind of comes out some, about like that. And like I said, that shoulder kind of covers up part of his chin there, so just keep that in mind. Whenever you're using your reference, got an ear kind of pokes out, and another ear. It's gonna be a little bit under the eye, so probably about right here. And it's going to be pretty flush with the shoulder. And just going to black that out some. Cool. So we got Gon's face. Alright, and then we'll just kind of outline this where the hair goes. That is something that I like to do. I'll go ahead and outline the hairline, so that way we can just kind of see where we're going, or where we're going. Right, and we'll just kind of come down right here. All right, now I'll go ahead and put that shoulder in place, because that's kind of a key staple here for catching the momentum of this drawing here. So he's not very muscular, so that's something you want to keep in mind. I know a lot of people, once they learn anatomy, they try to juice their characters to the gills. I mean, just super swole characters for no good reason at all. It's like the character's like 13 years old. He does not need to be that jacked. But hey, to each his own. To each his own. Alright, so just going around here. Like I said, not very big character. So let's just capture this shoulder area here. Let's go ahead and closing it up. Like I said, when you're working with pen, what I like to do is just go ahead and, if something needs to be closed up, I'm not going to wait until I'm there to try. I'm not going to work all the way around and then go back to this shoulder area here. I'm just going to go ahead and just close it up. Just go ahead and get it out the way. That way it's not in your way later. And let's see here. Sure, we can add the hair, whatnot. And with hair, I've seen a lot of people try to go like strand by strand. Not necessarily for anime hair, but for just hair in general. And that is something I want to touch on, maybe in a later video, just how to draw hair. Because I feel like that's something a lot of people struggle with. And it doesn't have to be that difficult. It's really just catching the shapes of those hair follicles, like the groupings of them. You don't want to go strand by strand. You really want to. This is a lot of what these mangas do. You know, you look at Dragon Ball Z, or even this hair here. they're not catching it strand by strand. They're catching groups of hair, right? And making shapes out of them. So that's a very easy way to remember how to do hair, especially if you're doing like an anime kind of style. All right, and we'll black all that in later. And we're gonna go down the side here, so that way we can catch the leg, because I do want to bring it just a little bit closer. I want to bring it a little bit over this way. So we'll just make our way down here. He's bending right here, so of course the fabric is going to have some folds in it, just by it being bunched up. And we'll catch that too. And like I said, we're following reference, but I do want you guys to kind of get the mindset behind these things, so that way when you draw your own characters, you'll be in really good shape to do some really cool creating. And yeah, let's go ahead. We'll bring the leg a little bit closer. There we go. Yeah, I just like the way that looks better. Actually, I did Taekwondo growing up, so I'm really particular when it comes to like drawing kicks. I try to do them justice. Sadly, I stopped at purple belt, but I ended up getting into boxing a little bit later on in life, so it'll be all right. All right, cool. And let's see here. I'm gonna finish up this torso here. And you really just, when you have a reference, I mean, try to use it best you can. But if you don't have a reference, you want to be taking mental notes of where everything is. That way things come out proportional. That's really what you want. You know, it can be an awesome drawing, but if your proportions don't look the best, then it can throw a lot of stuff off. It just won't look right in the long run. All right, and got our body here. Cool. All right, we'll catch these folds here. Just where things are getting bunched up. Go around here. Cool. And of course there's a belt, like a little tie for the gi. And let's see here. We'll go ahead and just black this out. Actually, I might go back through with my marker and just do another coat, but for the meantime, just want to just go ahead and like that. Let's go ahead and get that situated. Yeah, with pen, a lot of people take their time. That's really good to do. I'm not. let me say this first and foremost. Take your time when you're doing pen. But if you're just sketching, just working with stuff, you know, just trying some different stuff out, you don't have to baby it. You know, your lines are going to be your lines, and if they're not looking the best, that's okay. That's why you're practicing. Yeah, you really don't want to like baby your lines. You know, just go ahead and just get them on the paper, recognize your mistakes, and move on, and just work towards getting better. All right, cool. So we got the belt. All right, and let's go through. I'm going to keep this leg pretty much the same for the most part. Just kind of follow reference here. Catches right there. There's a fold that goes through right about there. And Like I said, you can your bones or your guidelines are there for a reason. Just kind of help you through as you're going, but you don't have to follow them exactly to a T. I wouldn't, just because you might see some stuff that you realize you could fix. You know, it could just be a little more proportional. Like I did with this leg over here, I moved it over. And same with this one, I'm kind of bringing it in some. And it's just, it kind of comes with the territory. Yeah, you want to be able to kind of just think on the move and just not be too locked in to a specific look, especially if you're working with pen. Because sometimes just it might spill over, you know. Your lines might not look the way you wanted them to, but you can improvise and it might end up coming out a little bit better than what you first thought that you were gonna do. With the hands here, pretty simple stuff. It's just blocking this stuff in. Like I said, you want to see the shapes in it. These fingers pretty much just rectangles, nothing too crazy here. And you're just blocking this stuff in. Basically just rectangles on top of rectangles. Alright, and just do one more rectangle here. And just one more for the pinky. And that's gonna go out like that. Cool. Alright, so we got our hand there. Clean that up just a little bit. Yeah, see, like even with this hand here, it didn't come out perfect, but we got the point across. We got the point across, so there's a hand over there. That's really what you want. You know, the more you can communicate your art to the viewer, the better off you'll be. Alright, now to the back side of the pants here. And see, we're a little ways off of the initial guideline, but the leg is there. It's within these clothes. So we're good. We're good. You just keep flowing, keep going. Just keep flowing and going. Alright. Approaching the bottom of this leg here. And we're just gonna look at the reference, see what we got going on. There we go. And that actually comes out one more time at the bottom here, kind of flares out. I guess it's like a tie tied up right there. And remember, the foot was kind of like a triangle. So with the foot, you want to make sure it's kind of flat to the ground, because that is where he's balancing at. Or from. That's where he's balancing from. And just pretty basic foot here. And we'll black all this in later. Alright, cool. And if you guys would like to, you can follow along and see how this method works for you. Really just kind of taking you guys through my process. But hey, this process could be very helpful to you. I mean, I want you guys to try this. You know, be students. Be students. Don't just take what I say and just be like, okay, well, this is the only way I can do this. No. There's several different ways you can go about this pose. But this is my method. It's my way of going about it. And if it helps you, it helps you. And if it doesn't, well, you know, there's plenty of other ways to go about it. But like I said, this is just my method. Alright. You see, I'm kind of moving around this leg here, just trying to catch the folds. the right spot. Bubble that out there. All right, cool. All right, so that kind of comes out some. See how we're kind of moving away a little bit from this guideline here, but it's still pretty on point for the most part. And that's gonna cut across the pants there. Got another one right there. Just talking about these folds here. You know, where there's tension, that's where the folds are going to be coming from. And I would like to do a whole video on that as well. But yeah, you guys let me know what you would like to see and what would be helpful for you. Because I can yap all day about this stuff, but if it's not providing you any value, then I need to know so that way I can put the stuff out that you guys actually need help with. But I do understand this video is just more so about just my method of how to take a shape and then translate it into a pose, or multiple shapes and translate them into poses like we just did here. And let's see here. Right. And what you're seeing here is the bottom of this kind of sandal that he has. There we go. And wrap it around the foot here. Little ankle joint right there. All right, so hold up, let's 1 second, because you gotta, like I said, it's good to pay attention to reference, guys, because you might be wrapping it up and you might not be quite finished yet. So let's just add this stuff right here. Yeah, I think this is like a wrap that he has around his foot, which would explain why it's kind of bunched up at the bottom there. All right. Let's go through the front of the shirt too, because he has some folds there. All right, and there we have it. We have drawn, gone. So what I'm gonna do is, it's typical to see a lot of comic book artists do this. Everywhere that we're gonna black out, I'm gonna put an X right there, just to make a mental note that we're gonna black all of that out. I would have done it with the belt here, but we were in a flow, so we just kind of bypassed it. All right. So all right, I'm gonna go through and just black out all the parts that have an X. Okay, I just realized that I didn't do the other hand. so let's do that real quick. Oh man, can't believe I missed that. That's all right though. Just go ahead and doodle this in real quick. And like I said, the hands here are very rectangular like. So that's just something to keep in mind. Why didn't you guys tell me I had missed a hand? Alright. Sure, we'll put one more on the side here. I know that's not how the reference has it, but like I said, we're just going to sketch a hand in. There we go. All right, and we got ourselves a hand. So what I will do, guys, since I do have a gray alcohol marker, I'm gonna go through and actually add some of the shading that this has in the reference. So let's do that real quick. Here we have it. There is our gone. If you guys like this video, be sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.